Well, as always, the weekend is coming into an end, but we do not end things here. But as always, if you guys are big fans of the Yoshi wrestling scene or Japanese wrestling in general, you're always in the right channel. So today is all about Stardom. As you probably know, we just had the recent events in Kobe and Yamaguchi. As you all know, Yamaguchi is also known as Mayu Iwatani's country, which is, of course, where she's from, and she makes her return home. So that's going to be very interesting. Originally, she was supposed to team up with Saki Kashima, but due to her being ill, she teamed up with Tam Nakano instead. So that's going to be a fun match to review. And then we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. I believe it's time to reach for the sky, boy. So let's begin, of course, with one of Stardom's most recent event that took place on February in Kobe. Okay. Stardom in Kobe. This was basically back on this past Saturday, on the 8th. Well, should I say yesterday? But anyway, it opened up with the Cosmic Angels consisting of Yuna Mizumori, Sayuri Anu, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano. Now, they face against Stars, Momo Kogo, Koguma Azuki, and Mayu Iwatani. However, nothing too significant about this match that tells a storyline. But however, of course, the one thing would be on Tam's mind is try to make a pin onto, of course, to Mayu Iwatani that hopes to surpass her and become the IWGP Women's Champion. But that's going to take a while until the right moment. But however, the one thing that was interested is the part between Momokogo and Yuna Mizumori. And the reason is this: Yuna Mizumori has not lost focus on her objective. Her objective, in the other hand, is to get another crack of the high speed belt, which she recently lost to Masato recently. And Momokogo also has an aim for that too. So basically, it became at the end a battle about who will be getting the upper hand for a shot of the high speed championship. And the person who did that was none other than uh, Yuna Mizumori, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. But of course, I'm sure this was a disappointing match for Momokogo because she's determined to win the high speed belt. But Yuna Mizumori, who has been already in a situation where she is now making her play, so hopefully she does get to it. And I'm sure Momokogo is not going to let that happen. But that's for another time. Now, our next match, we have the rookies, Julia Him and Akira Kurugane. They team up. They face against Neo Genesis current high speed champion Meisira and the current um, the white belt champion and 1/3 of the artist champions Starlight Kid. Now, nothing too special about this match from anything. Now, we are expected in matches like these for the rookies to lose their matches by anybody. But unfortunately, this match ended with Akira Kurugane, who actually ended up on the modified version of a sleeper hold by Meisira, and she had no choice but to tap. So it was over. Our next match, we have, of course, Hate members Azusa Inaba and Raka taking on a very makeshift team from two different factions. Rana Yagami from God's Eye and Sayaka Kurara from Cosmic Angels. Now remember, those two teamed up. They are part of the same batch that debuted on Christmas, and it's very interesting that those two would team up. And recently, they were rivals in some capacity. But of course, you would expect that Hate will pick up a win, and of course, it was excuse me, Azusa Inaba who walked away with the win when she pinned Yagami, and just like that, it was over. But however, during the post match, Saya Kamitani showed up and tried to pet Kurara. Now, as you know, Kurara cannot believe that this is happening to her. That Kamitani thinks that she can do a better mentorship than Tam does. Because those who remember, Kamitani used to be Tam's student until she sided with the Queen's Quest, and now she's in the position where she wants to destroy Tam in every way possible. But that's for another time. Our next match, we have EXV's Rian, Hanako, and Maika. They, of course, will take on Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, who is a double champion, one of the artist champions, and also the current future champion. She teams up with Zuzu and Azumi, who's also an artist champion. However, keep in mind, it was, of course, Hanako who issued the challenge to Miyu Amasaki for a shot of the future belt. And of course, that's going to happen. But in recent times, we have seen Hanako building up the momentum. And of course, many people question, is this the possibility Amasaki will lose the future belt? Well, we don't know for sure. But this match ended with, of course, Hanako applying the JP coaster onto Amasaki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. And of course, we did see Hanako do a post-match promo sending a message to Amasaki, but we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match, we have Aya Sakura take on Hanan. Now, remember, Hanan, as you know, has been considered as the future ace of Stardom, and she faces against the future generation of Stardom, Aya Sakura. Now, as you know, Aya Sakura has grown significantly. She had to catch up for what she has missed out when she was injured last from 2023 to 2024, and now she is building up some headways on herself. And I'm sure her karate expertise will be helpful, but I don't know how be helpful with it comes to Hanan, who has a judo expertise, in that kind of fashion. But however, it was Hanan who picked up the win with the Hanan special, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But later we did see in the post-match promo, Hana said something to Aya Sakura, but Aya Sakura said that she'll be the next future generation. So we'll see where that leads us from there. Now, our main event, this one was a handicap match. Originally, it was supposed to be a 4-on-4, 8-woman tag match. From God's Eye, we have Tomoka Inaba, Lady C, and Shuri. Now, Saki Kashima was supposed to be in this, but apparently she wasn't feeling well. So it became apparent it was 3-on-4, and they faced once again their rivals, Hate, Konami, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and Sayakami Tani. Now, of course, when it comes to hate, you all know they will cheat their way through by doing dirty tactics, distracting referees, building weapons, and all that. That's what makes them what they are, the most disgusting, vile group of them all. But it was, of course, Konami who walked away with the win when a sleeper hold on Shuri. But however, uh, Konami, who's determined to humiliate Shuri for good measure, sprayed her face black, sending a message to saying this farce of you being friends is stupid. But sooner or later, Shuri will get her hands on her, one way or another, even if Konami doesn't want to. But eventually, of course, Shuri will have her revenge against her. So I think that's pretty much it for the Kobe event. Let's do the one for Yamaguchi. Okay, as we continue with more with Stardom, we are now in the latest one that happened just recently today, Yamaguchi. Now, those who know this place, this is the home of the icon herself, Mayu Iwatani. Now, you all know the story about her. Uh, Mayu Iwatani, known as the runaway wrestler who left town to become a pro wrestler. Well, I already seen the movie, so I don't need to give you guys much of the background. But it's always great to see the hometown girl return, and that's why they call it Mayu Iwatani's return triumphant return. So you probably would think, okay, so if this is Mayu Iwatani's home, that means she's going to win her match. Now, I did mention that she was initially supposed to team up with Saki Kashima, but due to the circumstances of her not feeling well, she ended up being with Tam. So Tam Nakano had to pull a double header today. So basically, being in a six-woman tag match and teaming up with Mayu Iwatani. So that pretty much sets it all. Now, let's begin with, of course, our first match. Our first match, we have the rookies now teaming up on opposite sides of each other. Julia Hame teams up with the Cosmic Angels, more specifically Natsupoi and Tam Nakano. For those who probably wondering where's Sayuri Anu, well, she was busy doing something else, but that's for another time. But anyway, they face against Akari Kurugane, and she teams up with Neo Genesis, specifically Zuzu and Starlight Kid. So, as you probably can guess, that Natsupoi feels a bit more frustrated that she lost both her belts, the white belt and the orange belt, to Starlight Kid. So, it's a bit frustrating, but you can tell there was some great moments. Now, some of you may think, is there any possibility that any of these rookies have any units in mind to join? Like, for example, will Julia considered with Cosmic Angels? Well, right now it's a little bit too early to determine that. We already seen that many times with rookies. But however, this match ended by submission from Zuzu to Julia Hime, and just like that, it was over. But however, I have noticed Julia Hime how she interacted well in the post match with the Cosmic Angels. They gave her a pat on the head. I'm not sure if there's any consideration for her to join, but that's only for her to decide alone. And of course, same thing with Akira. So we'll see. Our next match, we have, of course, a three-way. We have Rian versus Azusa Inaba versus Yuna Mizumori. Now, of course, this particular match, you probably can guess there's going to be some elements. However, as you know, Azusa Inaba pushed things a little too far when it came to Yuna Mizumori, because if you guys know, Azusa Inaba and Rian are almost about the same age. They always agree about one thing. They like to call wrestlers who are in above 21 or a bit older shitty old hags. And well, I guess Inaba has learned a lesson not to push her buttons, and that's exactly what happened. But unfortunately, it was Rian who ended up on the wrong side of the tropical by Yuna Mizumori, and just like that, one, two, three, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, and Meisira taking on stars Momokogo and Hanan. Now, of course, many of you remember I mentioned on the last review Momokogo, who also has determined to challenge for the high-speed belt is determined to prevent Yuna Mizumori from making another attempt, feeling like it's her shot. But unfortunately, that moment ended in disaster for her because she ended up on the wrong side of the rolling star by Meisira, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now our next match, we have the young Kozen, Sayaka Kurara and Aya Sakura, better known as Sakurara. They face against High Mate, better known as from EXV's Hanako and Maika. Now, as you all know, we've seen a lot of great progress with both Kurara and Sakura have grown a bit, but however, Hanako has been showing her dominance. There was a moment where there was an accidental miscue from Kurara where she attempting to spear Hanako, but accidentally speared Sakura, but Sakura ended up on the wrong side of the JP coaster. Now, of course, Kurara feels guilty for what she did. And of course, Sakura, who is still dealing with the fact that her now supposed former friend is advancing more than her. It's like right now it's bugging her, but she's not. She wants to take. She believes in the path that she wants to do. I'm not sure if she's determined to go alone or have a different partner. I don't know. It's still determined. I think people are still talking. They do believe that Kurara will betray Tam, but only time will tell until then. Now, our next match, we have God's Eyes, Rana Yagami, Lady C, Tomaka Inaba, and Shuri once again taking on Hates, Ruaka, Konami, Natsuko Tora, and Saya Kamitani. Now, of course, when it comes to, of course, Hate, you know their dirty tactics, how they were distract referees, bring in weapons to ensure they win. That's exactly what was going on throughout the entirety of the match. However, Raka ended up on the wrong side of a submission by Shuri with a version of the stretch muffler, and just like that, she had no choice but to tap. And then, of course, Shuri did a post-match promo. I'm sure she still has some unfinished business with Konami, but that's only going to be at another later time. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Now, our next match, give me a minute. No, fudge. Anyway, let's keep moving. Our main event, Momo Watanabe and Azumi, known as Momo Azumi. Well, it's the first time they team up in a couple of years. Who could forget about how Momo betrayed Azumi back in 2021 to join Oedo Tai, but now they face against Tam Nakano and Mayu Iwatani. Now, of course, you all know the history between those two. Mayu Iwatani and Tam originally started Stars together, as Mayu being the leader. And of course, we know the history about those two, about Mayu and Tam, where of course Mayu ignored Tam for years, not acknowledging her presence, and of course, resulting Tam to form one of the best units in Stardom, the Cosmic Angels. So you ask yourself, okay, there will be no problem between them, but the real question we ask is between Momo and Azumi. We know that Azumi will never forgive Momo for her betrayal towards her and the other members, what used to be Queen's Quest, of course. So that's always been a thing. But there was another moment where we did see, of course, Momo, once again with her usual tactics. She shoved Tam into the ref, and the referee was out. And then, of course, there was a moment where, of course, when Momo had the bat, intended to whack Tam, but she whacked Azumi instead. So that's her usual thing. But luckily, the one person who took the fall was, well, Momo took the fall when Mayu applied the moonsault, and just like that, it was over. So basically, Mayu Iwatani won her match, making her home memorable. But of course, as you know, as always, there's the post-match promo. But Tam Nakano, as you probably can guess, she probably has her unfinished business with Mayu Iwatani, and soon enough, there are those that do believe that Tam will make that win against Mayu Iwatani. But the real question is, when? So we'll just wait and see what happens. So for now, we are done with everything with Stardom. Let's move on with some news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events with the promotions. Now, as you know, on March 22nd, West Coast Pro will have their latest event, the West Coast Best Pro West Coast. Two names have been mentioned now that will participate in this event. We got the heavyweight hustle, Calvin Tegman, and of course our current West Coast Pro Women's World Champion, Zara, and of course local here in San Diego, Zara Zacher. Now, however, her opponent is none other than Johnny Robbie, who I already mentioned will be involved, so she will defend her belt against her. Now, those who know this, we will have the Las Vegas events, and I'm doing the Las Vegas updates, and this is mostly for the April 17th events. So the first one we have West Coast Pro with Vegas Vacation. They just announced Dragon Kid will be participating. Now, uh, Dragon Kid, as we speak, is of course out on injury, but in March next month he will not be participating in one event that he was mentioned, but looks like he'll probably be in full recovery mode. So it's great that he'll be announced. And then we have, of course, Prestige Wrestling with Nothing to Lose. They announced a guy named Von Vertigo. And then finally, the Marvelous event as well. They just announced the current TNA Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich. Those who don't know this, Masha's first official tour was Japanese tour was with Marvelous. So it would make absolute sense of that. So it's great that certain wrestlers who've been with Marvelous are are saying hi to old friends. So it's great to hear that. Now for some developments. Now you may have heard recently that former WWE superstar Elijiah, he is now all elite and also working with Ring of Honor. It looks like there have been videos and of course photos of him teaming up with the Righteous, so he most likely will be a new member. So can't wait to see that. And then finally, of course, you all know we just had recently more WWE releases. Well, more names have been announced. We have Carmella and her husband and commentator Corey Graves. So it's kind of interesting. But there was one name that was interesting, and that is, of course, Elektra Lopez. And Sean Ross Sapp had something to say about this. Let me pull it up real quick for every one of you. For all of you that way. Where is it out here? Here it is. This is what he said. I've asked about Elektra Lopez showing up on the WWE alumna page. I have not heard since she released at the time. She was still listed at SmackDown, and the release talent listed with the brand. I'll let you guys know if I get an update or if the status is clarified. So basically, there were still uh, questionings about that, but looks like she is released from my understanding. So we don't know where they'll end up, but hopefully we wish them nothing for the best. But for now, I think we are done with everything. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet. Um, I'll just wing it. There's still some events. There's the recent Max Heart final events by Tokyo Pro Wrestling. I haven't seen yet, so I'm considering that being one of them. But I haven't decided yet because I have a dentist appointment, and we'll see how that rolls up. Hopefully I'll be able to speak. But that's just me. For now, I'll say this that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.